toughness. Fast confidence is not about pretending to be someone you are not. It is not about wearing a mask or performing for the world. True confidence radiates from within, and it comes from knowing yourself, embracing yourself, and standing firmly in who you are. No matter the situation, every room you walk into, every conversation you have, every challenge you face, each one is an opportunity to express this inner strength. And confidence is not arrogance. It is not loudness. Confidence is quiet power, steady presence, unshakable calm. It does not shout, yet it speaks volumes. It does not force attention, yet people feel it. The first step to radiating confidence is self-awareness. When you know your strengths, your values, and your purpose, you do not need to compare yourself with others. You are centered in who you are. Self-awareness is the root from which true confidence grows. The second step is posture and presence. Before you even speak, your body communicates. Stand tall, walk with ease, breathe deeply. Your posture tells the world that you belong, that you are comfortable in your own skin. Presence is not about taking up space, but about filling the space with your calm energy. The third step is voice. Confidence is not the loudest voice in the room, but the clearest, the most grounded. When you speak with intention, slowly, calmly, with certainty, your words carry weight. People trust what you say because you trust what you say. The fourth step is eye contact. To look into another's eyes without fear or avoidance is to say, I see you and I am unafraid to be seen. It builds trust. It creates connection, and it shows that you are present in the moment. The fifth step is emotional regulation. Situations may test you, but your ability to remain composed is the foundation of confidence. When you breathe before reacting, when you respond instead of exploding, you radiate strength. Calmness is louder than anger, and steadiness speaks louder than panic. The sixth step is preparation. Confidence grows in the soil of readiness. When you prepare, whether it is for a conversation, a task, or a challenge, you show respect for yourself and for others. Preparation gives your mind the anchor it needs to stay steady even when pressure rises. The seventh step is authenticity. Pretending to be someone you are not always breeds insecurity. But when you show up as yourself, honest, real, genuine, you free yourself from the burden of performance. People feel safe around authenticity, and that safety becomes confidence. Sasiindi, self-awareness is the foundation of confidence because you cannot walk into the world with steadiness if you do not know who you are. Many people spend their lives trying to borrow confidence from outside through clothes, titles, achievements, or the approval of others. But the truth is, external validation fades quickly, and the moment it is removed, insecurity comes rushing back. Self-awareness is different. It is the quiet understanding of your strengths, your values, when your unique presence. When you know yourself, you are no longer at the mercy of comparison because you stand rooted in your own identity. To cultivate self-awareness, you must begin by paying attention to yourself. This sounds simple, but many of us go through our days disconnected from our inner world. We act, we speak, we react, often without stopping to reflect on why we do what we do. Self-awareness invites you to step back and observe your own thoughts, your own patterns, your own triggers. It is like holding up a mirror, not for vanity, but for truth. And when truth reveals both strengths and weaknesses, you gain the power to grow. Self-awareness also means recognizing your values, the principles that guide your decisions and shape your life. Confidence grows when you live aligned with these values. For example, if honesty is one of your values and you speak with truth, you will naturally feel grounded. But if you betray your own values to please others, your confidence will crumble because you are living against yourself. The more clearly you know your values, the more consistently you can act in harmony with them, and the more authentic and unshakable your confidence becomes. Another dimension of self-awareness is understanding your strengths and limitations. Confidence does not come from pretending you are flawless. It comes from embracing your gifts fully, while also being at peace with your imperfections. When you know what you bring to the table, you can step into any room without shrinking. And when you know where you are still learning, you do not need to hide in shame. You can stand with humility, which in itself is a powerful form of confidence. Knowing both your light and your shadows allows you to walk forward with balance. Finally, self-awareness connects you to purpose. Confidence without purpose can become arrogance, but confidence rooted in purpose is steady and inspiring. When you know why you are here, when you understand what drives you, your presence naturally commands respect. Not because you demand it, but because you radiate clarity. Self-awareness, then, is not a luxury. It is the root system of confidence. Just as a tree cannot stand tall without deep roots, you cannot radiate confidence without first anchoring yourself in the truth of who you are. Tia Shao Topai, before you ever speak a word, your body has already spoken. The way you carry yourself announces to the world what you believe about yourself. Posture is not only about standing tall physically, it is about standing tall inwardly. When your shoulders are pulled back, your head is lifted, and your movements are steady, you send a signal to others and to yourself that you belong. You are declaring through your body, I am here, and I am enough. Posture becomes the silent language of confidence. Presence goes deeper than posture. It is the quality of energy you bring into a space. Have you noticed that some people walk into a room quietly, and yet everyone feels them? They do not need to demand attention. Their presence commands it naturally. That is because presence is not about being the loudest or the most dramatic. It is about being fully here, not distracted, not hidden, not shrinking away. When you show up completely present, people feel safe and drawn to you. Your stillness speaks louder than noise ever could. Posture and presence also affect your inner state. When you slump, when you make yourself small, your mind begins to follow with feelings of weakness. But when you straighten your spine, open your chest, and breathe deeply, you feel a shift in your emotions. You feel stronger, calmer, more ready. The body and the mind are not separate. They are constantly shaping each other. By training your posture, you are also training your thoughts to align with strength and dignity. It is important to remember that posture and presence are not about arrogance. You are not puffing yourself up to appear bigger than others, nor are you shrinking yourself to appear smaller. Confidence is found in balance, standing as an equal among equals. Presence says, do not need to prove myself. I do not need to hide myself. I am comfortable as I am. When you stand with this kind of natural balance, people trust you, not because you force them to, but because they sense the truth in you. Practicing posture and presence is simple but powerful. Before entering a meeting, take a moment to stand tall, take a slow breath, and remind yourself that you belong in that room. Before speaking with someone, ground your feet, relax your body, and bring your full attention to them. With time, this becomes second nature. Posture becomes not just a position of the body, but a position of the spirit. Presence becomes not just an external quality, but the natural glow of a person who is at ease with themselves. Teopap 4. Your voice carries far more power than you often realize. It is not only a tool for communication. It is an extension of your inner state. A voice that trembles, rushes, or hides behind uncertainty reveals a mind that is unsure of itself. But a voice that is steady, calm, and intentional reflects clarity and confidence. People may forget the exact words you speak, but they will never forget the way your voice made them feel. When your voice carries certainty, it becomes a channel of trust, and trust is the foundation of influence. Confidence in your voice does not come from being the loudest in the room. True confidence is never about volume. It is about clarity. A calm, measured tone often carries more authority than shouting. Speaking slowly and deliberately gives weight to your words. Pausing at the right moment gives your message room to breathe, allowing others to absorb what you are saying. The voice of certainty is not in a hurry. It knows the value of silence as much as sound. The way you use your voice also shapes how you see yourself. When you speak with conviction, even if you are nervous inside, your mind begins to align with the strength you project. This is why practicing confident speech is so important. The body influences the mind, and the mind influences the body. They reinforce one another. By training your voice to carry calmness and strength, you are training your inner self to believe it as well. Eventually, this confidence becomes natural, not forced. But confidence in voice is not only about tone, it is also about honesty. Words spoken without sincerity ring hollow, no matter how polished the delivery. When your words come from a place of truth, people feel it. Even if you are speaking softly, your authenticity adds a depth that cannot be imitated. The voice of certainty is not about performance. It is about alignment between your words and your heart. When your speech reflects your values, your voice becomes a vessel of integrity, and people are drawn to it. To develop a voice of certainty, practice is key. Read aloud to yourself, not to perform, but to listen to your own rhythm. Slow down when you feel the urge to rush. Pay attention to your breathing, because the breath is the foundation of your voice. And most importantly, speak from a place of presence. Do not scatter your words like seeds thrown carelessly into the wind. Speak as if every word matters, because it does. With practice, your voice becomes not only a tool of communication, but, you said, Thomas, eye contact is one of the simplest yet most powerful expressions of confidence. When you meet someone's eyes without hesitation, you are sending a silent message. I see you, and I am not afraid to be seen. That small act alone builds trust faster than 1,000 words. People instinctively read the eyes, searching for honesty, assurance, and connection. A confident gaze does not intimidate. It reassures. It tells the other person that you are fully present with them in that moment. Avoiding eye contact often communicates insecurity, even when that is not your intention. Looking away too quickly, staring at the ground, or letting your eyes dart nervously can make you appear uncertain or distracted. But when you hold eye contact naturally, not as a stare, but as a steady presence, you create a sense of stability. You show the other person that you are grounded in yourself and that you respect their presence as well. This balance is what transforms a simple look into a powerful tool of connection. Eye contact also strengthens your own inner state. When you practice meeting the eyes of others, you remind yourself that you belong in the space you occupy. You stop shrinking from visibility and instead step into it with courage. Every time you hold someone's gaze, you are practicing self-acceptance. You are saying, I have nothing to hide, and I am not lesser than you. This act slowly builds the muscle of confidence, teaching both your body and your mind to stand in your truth without fear. It is important, however, to understand that true confidence in eye contact is gentle, not aggressive. Staring too intensely can create discomfort, just as avoiding eye contact creates distance. The goal is presence, not pressure. A confident gaze carries warmth, not domination. It communicates both strength and kindness. When your eyes reflect both steadiness and compassion, people open themselves to you because they feel both seen and safe. Practicing eye contact can begin in the simplest of ways. Acknowledging a stranger with a brief, genuine look, maintaining steady eyes when introducing yourself, or listening to someone while keeping your gaze softly on theirs. These small practices, repeated consistently, build a natural habit. Over time, it will no longer feel like effort. Instead, eye contact becomes the natural language of your confidence, quietly reminding both you and others that you are fully present and unafraid to connect. Topaisi sex self-awareness is the seed from which confidence grows. You cannot shine outwardly if you are disconnected inwardly. Too often, people search for confidence in external approval, waiting for others to praise them, to validate them, to crown them with worth. But as long as your strength depends on someone else's opinion, it will rise and fall like the tide. Self-awareness roots you deeper than that. It gives you an anchor in your own identity, so you are not tossed around by comparison or criticism. Knowing yourself is the quiet beginning of radiating unshakable confidence. To become self-aware, you must begin to observe yourself with honesty. Step back and notice your own patterns. How you react when stressed, what excites you what drains you, what makes you come alive. Most people live without ever pausing to ask why they do what they do. But when you bring awareness to your inner world, you stop living on autopilot and start living with intention. Awareness shines a light into the corners of your mind, and in that light, you see more clearly the person you are becoming. Self-awareness also helps you discover your true values. Values are the compass that keeps you aligned when life feels uncertain, when you know what matters most to you. Whether it is integrity, kindness, growth, or service, you stop being pulled in every direction by external demands. You begin to walk with consistency. Confidence grows naturally when your actions are in harmony with your values, because you no longer have to pretend. Your outer life reflects your inner truth, and that alignment creates an energy people can feel. Another dimension of self-awareness is the balance between strengths and weaknesses. Confidence is not about claiming perfection. It is about embracing your strengths boldly, while being at peace with your imperfections. When you know your strengths, you can step forward with courage. When you know your weaknesses, you do not need to fear being exposed. You simply continue to learn and grow. This honesty protects you from arrogance on one side and insecurity on the other. It allows you to stand tall, not because you are flawless, but because you are real. Finally, self-awareness connects you to a sense of purpose. Without purpose, even success feels empty. But with purpose, even challenges feel meaningful. When you know why you are here and what you are working toward, your presence carries weight. People listen because they sense that you are not drifting. You are directed, and that direction flows from your awareness of who you are and what you are meant to bring into the world. This is why self-awareness is not optional. It is the root system of confidence, unseen beneath the surface, but essential to everything that grows above it. Topi Saivien. Resilience is the shield that protects your confidence when life does not go as planned. Every person, no matter how strong, will face moments of disappointment, rejection, and failure. What defines your confidence is not whether you avoid these challenges, but how you rise when they meet you. Resilience is not about pretending pain does not exist. It is about acknowledging the struggle and yet choosing to continue forward. This choice, to stand back up after being knocked down, becomes the foundation of an inner confidence that cannot be shaken by circumstances. When you practice resilience, you learn to see setbacks not as verdicts against your worth, but as lessons shaping your growth. A rejection is not proof that you are unworthy. It is simply a redirection. A failure is not the end of your journey. It is a classroom. Each difficulty carries within it an invitation to deepen your character, to strengthen your patience, to refine your wisdom. Confidence grows not in the absence of storms, but in the willingness to walk through them, knowing that the rain will pass and the sun will return. Resilience also teaches you to separate your identity from your outcomes. Too many people tie their confidence to whether they succeed or fail, creating a fragile self-image that breaks with each setback. But when you are resilient, you begin to see yourself as More than any single result, you recognize that your value does not disappear because one plan failed. You understand that mistakes and delays are temporary, but your worth is constant. That recognition allows you to stand firm, no matter how many times you must start again. Moreover, resilience strengthens your credibility in the eyes of others. People are drawn not to those who have never struggled, but to those who have walked through difficulty with grace. When you remain steady in the face of hardship, you inspire others to find their own strength. Your ability to keep moving forward, to hold faith in yourself, even when circumstances are heavy, becomes a OPCEIGHT. Your body speaks long before your words ever do. The way you carry yourself tells people how much you believe in yourself, even without a single sentence spoken. When you walk into a room with your head lifted, shoulders back, and a steady pace, others sense presence. They feel your energy before they hear your voice. Body language is the silent announcement of your confidence. It either declares your strength or reveals your doubt. Learning to master it is not about pretending, but about aligning your posture with the truth that you are worthy to be seen and heard. Strong body language begins with posture.